I'm not Ziz. Ziz is a person that took over who I am. I'm Az. Ziz is a fucking spirit, bro. And Ziz took over me. Time to talk one-on-one with everyone here. Listen carefully, bros. This is the revolution. Everybody asking, what the fuck is this about? What the fuck is up with those videos, cunt? You're fucking up yourself, cunt. It's a fucking act. There is no Ziz. You mind, bro? I'll give you more reason to mind now, bro. It's fucking Ziz, bro. Everyone has a little bit of Ziz in them. Every fucking cunt out there, you're a fucking sick cunt if you want to be, bro. Stop being a fucking sad cunt, alright? Go out, get bitches, but be a fucking sick cunt like Ziz, bro. That's what we fucking do, cunt. That's what we do in this shit, bro. You wanna be a fucking little sad cunt? Fuck that shit, bro. Every little fucking hater's gonna hate, bro. You'll never be like Ziz, bro. Cause I'm a fucking sick cunt, mate. And I'm a fucking sick cunt, mate. Every one of us has a little bit of Ziz in us. You just don't know it yet. If you're sitting here going, who the fuck is this fucking faggot? Well, you're probably right, but fuck, I'm shredded, bro. Yeah, you can't. So at the end of the day, bro, you gotta listen to this. If you're a fucking shredded sick cunt, you can get away with anything, bro. If you can find some fat cunt making this shit, people will be like, oh yeah, it's this, bro, yeah. No one give a fuck, man. In life, if you wanna be noticed, you gotta be a fucking ripped cunt, you gotta be a shredded cunt. You gotta go to the gym, you gotta be a sick cunt, you gotta fuck bitches, you gotta not give a fuck. That's what we do, bro. That's what the Ziz cunts do. That's what the revolution is, bro. None of these fucking sad cunts. We're all gonna fucking make it, bro. That's it. I'm not Ziz. Ziz is a person that took over who I am. I'm Az. Ziz is a fucking spirit, bro, and Ziz took over me. Time to talk one-on-one with everyone here. Listen carefully, bros. This is the revolution. Everybody asking, what the fuck is this about? What the fuck is up with those videos, cunt? You're fucking up yourself, cunt. It's a fucking act. There is no Ziz. You mind, bro? I'll give you more reason to mind now, bro. It's fucking Ziz, bro. Everyone has a little bit of Ziz in them. Every fucking cunt out there, you're a fucking sick cunt if you want to be, bro. Stop being a fucking sad cunt, alright? Go out, get bitches, but be a fucking sick cunt like Ziz, bro. That's what we fucking do, cunt. That's what we do in this shit, bro. You wanna be a fucking little sad cunt? Fuck that shit, bro. Every little fucking hater's gonna hate, bro. You'll never be like Ziz, bro. Cause I'm a fucking sick cunt, mate. And I'm a fucking sick cunt, mate. Every one of us has a little bit of Ziz in us. You just don't know it yet. If you're sitting here going, who the fuck is this fucking faggot? Well, you're probably right, but fuck, I'm shredded, bro. Yeah, you can't. So at the end of the day, bro, you gotta listen to this. If you're a fucking shredded sick cunt, you can get away with anything, bro. If you can find some fat cunt making this shit, people will be like, oh yeah, it's this, bro, yeah. No one give a fuck, man. In life, if you wanna be noticed, you gotta be a fucking ripped cunt, you gotta be a shredded cunt. You gotta go to the gym, you gotta be a sick cunt, you gotta fuck bitches, you gotta not give a fuck. That's what we do, bro. That's what the Ziz cunts do. That's what the revolution is, bro. None of these fucking sad cunts. We're all gonna fucking make it, bro. That's it. Every one of us is a little bit of this in us. You just don't know it yet. If you're sitting here going, who the fuck is this fucking faggot? Well, you're probably right. I'm fucking shredded, bro. You ain't cunt. So at the end of the day, bro, you gotta listen to this. If you're a fucking shredded sick cunt, you can get away with anything, bro. If you can tell yourself if I can't make any shit, and people will be like, oh yeah, it's this, bro, yeah. No one gives a fuck, man. In life, if you wanna be noticed, you gotta be a fucking rip cunt, you gotta be a shredded cunt, you gotta go to gym, you gotta be a sick cunt, you gotta fuck bitches, you gotta not give a fuck. That's what we do, bro. That's what the cis cunts do. That's what the revolution is, bro. None of these fucking sad cunts. We're all gonna fucking make it, bro. That's it.
Drawn into the backdrop here, you could fade away. Bright lights on a starless night, burn a hole in the dying day. Looking at life through a loaded gun, take your best shot, aim it at the sun. Looking at life through a loaded gun, you know you'll find yourself, you'll find yourself alone. You'll find yourself, you'll find yourself alone. You'll find yourself, you'll find yourself alone. You'll find yourself, you'll find yourself.
If one trend of 2023 shows how far we've fallen, it was the Barbie Botox. Named after the toy's signature long neck, the procedure spread like wildfire on Instagram after the release of the film. A series of injections to the trapezius muscles in the neck renders them unable to contract, which lowers your shoulders and makes your neck look slightly longer. Despite the risk of muscle paralysis and severe pain, thousands of people rushed out to get this hot new treatment. But this is a very recent phenomenon. No one did this in the past. No movie made people do this kind of thing. And that's when you realize that the Barbie Botox is just the tip of a massive
Bro, what are you doing, man? Why are you doing this?
massive iceberg, a trend that's hiding behind the surface. You see, the plastic surgery industry has been booming for years off the back of Instagram and TikTok. Invasive procedures go in and out of fashion every month, as a young impressionable audience goes from one insecurity to another, fed to them by Instagram's algorithm. Meanwhile, celebrities and influencers work hand in hand with the industry, making promotional posts and boasting about...
Yeah, a lot of content creators, like, this is kind of like a thing that a lot of people might not know about, but a lot of content creators actually get basically sponsorships with, like, plastic surgery places. And, like, this even happens in Korea and stuff, too. Obviously happens in Korea because they're, like, really big into plastic surgery, or South Korea is. And so, like, they'll go over there and have some shit done on them, and then they'll promote the place that they have it done, and so it's like kind of it's a win-win for them.
Their procedures and the results. As new procedures dip in and out of fashion, influencers target people's mental weaknesses and make a fortune drumming up clients for the industry. And now that plastic surgery is growing fastest among young adults looking to replicate the inhuman perfection they see on the app, it's time we really expose how Instagram is quite literally changing the face of the world. At the time,
well, it is, and also another thing is that one thing that people might not understand is that like what the difference between camera lenses are. For example, like how many of you guys have taken a picture, you've like looked in the mirror and you're like, oh, I look good. And then you take a picture with your phone and you say, wow, actually, you know what? Never mind. I look like a fucking ogre. Like it happens a lot, right? Why does that happen? It happens because of the camera lens. But people just don't know about that. Wide angle isn't flattering. Yeah, no, it's not generally, right? And so that's the thing, but people don't know about that because it's like a camera tech thing. So a lot of this, a lot of the fucked up things that people get into, they get into those things because they're just simply naive.
Or
they just don't know what they're talking about.
It's impossible to predict the rise of Instagram.
It's like especially bad for like girls with big noses, right? Because like a camera lens, like a phone camera lens will like emphasize that a lot. That's why girls hate, like there's a lot of girls now that like get nose surgery.
Biggest social media apps in the world. But looking back, it's easy to see that all the right ingredients were there for massive success. It all goes down to the founders Kevin Systrom and Mike Krieger. The pair originally met while studying at Stanford, and even before they had started their careers, they were being headhunted by the big names in tech. Kevin Systrom even turned down an internship at Facebook to spend time studying photography in Italy. Kevin would go on to intern at Odeo, a small app which would later become Twitter, and afterwards he would then get headhunted by Google and worked there for 2 years.
Good for him.
Even after a short time in the industry, Kevin was frustrated. He had just been passed up for a promotion and was sick of the culture of the company, and went against all the original ideas of Silicon Valley. Kevin wanted to fully throw himself into a creative idea and exploit an opening in the market by building something of his own. Kevin knew his old college friend Mike was just as ambitious as he was, and so he thought he would explain his vision for a new app, something he would tell Forbes in an interview a few years later. Mike Krieger and I created Instagram because we wanted a way to communicate visually. We realized that we'd be taking all these photos with our iPhone that would sit on our camera roll, and it felt like they should be seen, not necessarily because they were good photos, but because a photo that no one sees isn't really that interesting.
That's another big reason is that like before we had Instagram, you really had like, you had like Photo Bucket, like and a few other like random websites, but the problem is that there wasn't really a following feature. So the big reason why, at least like how many of you guys have an Instagram but you've never posted a picture on Instagram? Yeah, Flickr. Yeah, a lot of people, right? And so what do you use Instagram for? You use Instagram as like, it's like a Pokedex for girls. And so that's the way I use Instagram. I have a few posts on there I make since I make content. You know, it's like every once in a while I'll do that. But when was the last time I made a post on Instagram? Let me go and look and see for myself. Let's see. How do I even open up my account? I made a post in March 8th of 2023, and it says, I took this before I went to Dairy Queen. So that was over a year ago. But I go on Instagram every single day. It's crazy.
The photo you take communicates something about a moment in time, a brief slice of time of where you were, who you were with, and what you were doing. And funnily enough, their idea would prove to be one of the most lucrative ideas of the 21st century. Kevin and Mike immediately got to work on Instagram, pouring everything they had into this new app. And then just...
Yeah, like back then, like you didn't have like, because Facebook was the only other platform you had. And like with a lot of these like people that you wanted to follow, like you want to follow some hot girl, like you don't want to see like her talking about like what she thinks about Obama. Like shut the fuck up. Like I just want to look at the pictures. And so like Instagram like filled a need that people didn't have then.
2 weeks, they'd already secured $500,000 of funding from investors, and were starting to get it ready to launch to the public. But it still wasn't easy. It took the pair a year of work to get everything ready, but they still weren't prepared for what would happen next. Now, there was plenty of interest in the app, and they could tell this from the demos. And so as soon as they launched the app, within just the first week, Instagram had gained over 100,000 users.
Oh yeah, people love this. And also another reason why is because Instagram didn't require you to put in all of your personal information, and by 2010, this is almost 2011, people had begun to distrust Facebook and were becoming worried about giving their personal information, whereas like Instagram was just like you make an account, you post photos, and that's it. So like at the time, Instagram was like uniquely poised to be an incredible value for like a user.
Highest amount of users gained for any single social media app in history. The service for the app and the infrastructure wasn't enough to keep up with the massive influx of users. The new company that barely had anyone working for it had already far exceeded expectations, and so they would have to invest tons back in just to keep the app functional, with back-end tweets and more processing power. And so the first year was just a mad rush to keep up with the user base, with Kevin and Mike sacrificing everything in their lives to keep it afloat. But just when they thought they had gotten on top of the growth, there would be more crashes and more problems to deal with. But as time went on and they streamlined the process, their hard work was richly rewarded. You see, investors saw this and knew they had to get a piece of the pie. In less than 2 months after its launch, the app already hit 1 million
Probably
users,
a chart for like
and
homelessness.
Instagram was injected with $7 million of investor funding, particularly through Systrom Silicon Valley connections. And users just loved how you could make your photos look so much better than other apps like Facebook. And the key
Yeah,
here,
they had like the built-in filters. I forgot all about that. Yeah, the filters in Instagram, and this was like something that happened in like 2011. I feel like by 2014 or 15, people kind of moved away from putting like the heavy filters on. But in like 2012 and 2013, it was very common that people would like super filter their content and have like 2 or 3 filters on it or shit like that. Yeah.
was filters.
Like different color
Brought in
grading,
relatively
etc.
early on to make up for the poor quality of smartphone cameras at the time, the introduction of various photo filters would prove revolutionary. With the touch of a button, users could iron out their wrinkles, cover up any blemishes, and transform their mundane experiences into picturesque moments. What was meant as a simple fix for the lacking technology of the time took on a life of its own. Filters gave Instagram an air of perfection and artistic expression that transcended the dull, boring...
Let me see if I have a single filter photo. I do, but this is one that somebody sent to me, so it's like, I'm not really sure if that really counts. Oh no, I think I have another. Yeah, I've done it twice. Other than that, no.
Photos your relatives
the J Schlatt filter? No.
Time. Although Kevin and Mike could never have foresaw what they had really created and how this would be used in the future. But at the same time that Kevin and Mike were building the photo app of the future, something else was going on. Other people were laying the groundwork for an entirely different way to push past the limits of natural beauty. Now, if you're going to blame anyone for the massive rise in plastic surgery, then you'd have to talk about people like the Kardashians. They were unique among celebrities at the time because they truly offered nothing except for their image and their lifestyle. Coming to fame in 2007 after...
That wasn't new. Like, Paris Hilton did that before. Like, Paris Hilton walked so Kim Kardashian could run. Like, am I the only person that remembers all of the Paris Hilton shows in, like, the 2000s? What are we talking about? This is nothing special with Kim Kardashian. Yeah, they were friends? Yeah, I know.
Viral sex tape, Kim and the gang went on to hold their 15 minutes of fame and stretched it out over multiple decades. Kim and her family's signature look exploded onto modern culture and still has an effect on beauty standards today. The modern world's obsession with full lips, big butts, and stenciled eyebrows is in large part thanks to them. Of course, the image they sold to the world so easily didn't really bear any relation to reality. First, as you can probably guess, there's all the cosmetic surgeries and procedures they've gone through to get there, then countless layers of makeup, professional photography, and Photoshop were added on. And out of thousands of those photos, only a select few are chosen to be shown to the public.
But if you're like a 12-year-old girl and you don't understand any of that because you're stupid because you're a 12-year-old girl, you're gonna see a picture of Kim Kardashian or like I don't know any of the other ones really, but like you're gonna see a picture of one of them and you're gonna be like, well, I don't look like that, I guess I should kill myself. That's what happens. It is, because they're stupid. They don't know the difference. And also this happens with guys too, right? It like, I mean, girls, I think it's worse with girls. It is. But like for guys, it's still a problem.
Rise of social media, this kind of deception was only available to the rich and famous. Even their own influence alone has a huge effect on the cosmetic surgery industry. When a 17-year-old Kylie Jenner boasted of getting lip fillers to achieve her signature look, online searches for the procedure went up by over 3,000%. The so-called Brazilian butt lift...
That is nuts. Getting that shit at 17 years old? Oh my god. For guys, it's a bit different. Yeah, I mean, obviously for girls and guys, it's different, but this is nuts. Like, I would even say that for guys. Like, the problem is that, like, if you're a girl, like, yeah, you can get fit, but, like, a lot of the different things that, like, girls don't like about the way they look are, like, intrinsic things, like how big their boobs are. Or, like, you know, like the way their face looks, or, like, their chin or their nose. Where it's like, guys, I would say, like, 90% of guys... If you work out and you're in good shape, That's pretty much all you really need to do. Just do that. And you know, like, take care of yourself a little bit. Just do that.
Procedures.
I feel like guys have like a, you know, it's like, it's easier and harder, right? Because like working out is a lot harder than just going to like a place and then having them, you know, cut part of your nose off, for example. But at the same time, you don't have to do that. I'd rather not have somebody do that to me.
Kim and her family. The procedure involves a surgeon taking fat deposits from elsewhere on the body and then transferring them to the buttocks.
By the way, this is actually one of the most dangerous surgeries. Brazilian butt lifts are actually, I think it's like, I don't know like what the percentage, I heard it was like 2.5% or something like that, of them could be fatal, but I think that could also be wrong, but it's a very, very high percentage.
In 2018, the amount butt lift.
What's this BBL Drizzy? What is, I keep seeing this. I don't know what it is. What is that? It's a Drake versus Kendrick thing? Yeah, no, I know that, but like, it's a long story. Okay, got it.
Has risen by over 250%. Over time, though, the procedures fades away and the results disappear, so regular procedures.
In a lot of cases, yeah, that's true. Like, I know a number of girls that have had some of this stuff done, and honestly, I would never do this shit. Like, I'm gonna be real. Like, I even, like, that's the reason why I didn't even want to get a hair transplant. Like, even that was a bit too much for me. Like, that's scary. But yeah, this shit is extremely common. Like, there's a ton of girls that do OnlyFans that get this all the time. It is nuts whenever I see how much this is. This is a nickname Drizzy has for Drake. Oh, I see. Kendrick says he has Brazilian butt lift in his latest diss song. That's funny.
Procedures are required to keep it up. Even the Kardashians themselves regretted the procedure in the end, with Kim recently admitting that she'd stopped having her top-ups. The procedure is massively popular, but also incredibly risky compared to other cosmetic surgery. When it goes wrong, people can get nasty infections and sometimes require surgery to remove the implants. Or if the
the reason why also is because, like, the recovery process for this, I know a lot about this. The recovery process for this is like a matter of like a good number of months where you literally cannot sit down and you have to like sleep on your stomach and shit like that. It is crazy the amount of things that you need to do in order for this to actually work. It's fucked up. Yeah, it is.
fat gets into the bloodstream, it can actually cause embolisms and blockages to vital organs.
Pills to the butts, yeah, exactly.
One in every
Weeks, not
4,000
months.
people
Is it
die
weeks,
as a result of the complications, which is what led to the UK banning it in 2018. Eventually, they reversed the decision in 2022 after bringing in new safety regulations, but there's still a whole world of unlicensed practitioners performing a different version of the procedure.
Oh
While
my
they're not allowed
God.
to perform the surgical version with the potentially fatal side effects, they're still allowed to blindly inject people with artificial substances. It's not like the UK's ban really did anything anyway. The people who were determined enough to get it done were freely able
Yeah,
to
they just go somewhere
abroad
else.
to places like Turkey or Mexico,
Yep.
where the procedure is completely legal
And it's
often
also a lot
mostly
cheaper.
unregulated and far cheaper. Even today,
Yeah.
there's countless adverts for this.
There's a lot of girls that go to South Korea for it too, for obvious reasons.
all over Facebook and Instagram. But nothing has promoted plastic surgery and made the world more plastic and fake than it's ever been, like Instagram. The Kardashians might have remained in the background for most people, ending up as has-been stars like so many before them. But instead, their recipe for success based on their looks and their status alone was about to go global.
Well, it's because they're hot. Like, that's the reason why. I mean, like, what are we talking about? That's obviously the reason why. Like, duh. Like,
That was
What
all
do we-
thanks to Instagram. But how did an innocent photo sharing website become
Are they
the
though? A
money-making
lot of people
machine
think
it is
so.
today?
Yeah, maybe you
The
might not,
answer
but a lot
is
of people
Mark
do.
Zuckerberg. You see, Zuck's vision for a social media business was a lot different compared to Kevin Systrom or Mike Krieger.
Yeah.
While they were thinking about how to make money from people's photos, Mark was interested in commodifying the people instead. Even before Mark started Facebook, he had already demonstrated his true feelings towards his users. While
By the way, Mark Zuckerberg called people who handed over their data dumb fucks. Okay, based. True and based and real. He was right. He was fucking right.
Rejected that the film The Social Network was true in his account of his website FaceMash.
Right, like they just can't wrap their head around the idea that someone might build something because they like building things.
The evidence shows that it wasn't that far off. Articles from Harvard newspapers show how he plundered Harvard's registers for pictures of people's faces. He then used these to create a website where people could rank each other on attractiveness, while the backend...
I mean, like... Is this really supposed to be like some kind of fucking expose? A college guy made a website to rate girls? It's the right one, by the way. This one's way hotter. It's obvious. Is this really? Yeah, it's 2, right? Yeah, 100%. Like, what do you mean?
and secretly assigned them their own rating out of 10.
Yeah,
While it was quickly shut down, the stunt informed the future development of Facebook to a massive degree. Facebook did the same thing in turning its users into the product, just in a more sinister way. It was all about maximizing engagement for users, whilst plundering all the possible data they could find. And then selling this to advertisers and giving them easy targets for their campaigns was the final step in the profit machine. Whilst these weren't new ideas, Zuckerberg perfected them at Facebook. A combination of aggressive data hoarding and addictive design practices turned Facebook into one of the biggest companies in the planet, almost overnight. But already by the early 2010s, and Zuckerberg...
Well, people really liked Facebook. Facebook was a huge improvement over MySpace. MySpace was such trash. Like the website, like you would go onto people's profiles and you wouldn't know where anything was because of the, like all the different like applications and things on there, like the HTML customized stuff. It was bad.
Knew deep down that Facebook would be on the way out at the end of the decade, as he was failing to capture the next generation and was losing out to younger, more organic apps like Instagram. Meanwhile, things weren't amazing at Instagram either. Sure, growth was solid and the business was doing well, but after 2 years of grinding away, Kevin and Mike were sick of doing it alone. Now, they had built up a team by this point, but it was always an uphill struggle to keep up with the growth of the app. Some sort of merger or acquisition would put an end to these troubles. It would give them all the investments they needed, with the added bonus of the infrastructure to push Instagram to the next level. So after turning down a few other suitors, Kevin and Mike sold the company almost entirely to Mark Zuckerberg.
This reminds me of, like, remember what idiot bought Tumblr for $1 billion? Man, like, I mean, because Facebook really made a good call with this, right? This is a very good decision. Bro, yeah, they bought it for $1 billion. Then they banned porn. It's like, wait a minute. That's like buying McDonald's and saying it's going to be vegan only. What the hell is the point?
In 2012.
Americans share photos on Instagram. A company with only 13 employees bought today by Facebook for $1 billion.
Damn.
At first, it seemed like they made the right choice. Kevin and Mike were still
I bet they're pretty happy.
And they were free to grow the app however they wanted. And through the intelligent use of their new resources, Instagram had exploded in popularity. Within a year, they hit 50 million users, then 100 million a few months afterwards. But this all came at a cost, because it wasn't long before Mark came in to slowly force the founders out along with their original principles, allowing Facebook to make changes to the app and its business model forever. In 2014, Facebook pushed for changes to the data hoarding practices, making the app use Facebook's invasive tactics. A year later, they gave advertisers far more power.
I never connected my Instagram with Facebook, as far as I know. I never did it. Because I was like, I don't want to do this. I don't want people to see what I'm doing on Instagram or see what I'm doing on Facebook. Like, yeah, I never did that. Like, the only reason, like, I used to go on Instagram without an account, and then, like, they made it to where you had to have an account to look at people's pictures, and so then I made an account after that. Accidentally share something on Facebook. I never had that happen, but yeah.
The app, letting them run 30-second adverts and buying products directly through the app. Compromising your personal information and data security with the new hands.
I think
Mark
advertisements were
Zuckerberg
fine.
are notorious
Not a
for
big deal.
exploiting all of your information
scroll
and
through.
using it against you. That's why while you're exploring services like Instagram, every sign up or interaction might expose you to potential spam, scams, or identity theft. But imagine navigating these apps like Instagram with complete control of your personal information,
Yep.
never having to compromise your privacy for the sake of convenience. Well, this is where our video sponsor Cloak steps in. You see, Cloak uses advanced technologies like client-side encryption and zero-knowledge access, ensuring that all of your communications are securely encrypted and completely private. This means you can use apps like Instagram numbers, and emails via over to both for text and phone, and not have to use my link
I've ever seen.
so that you can get a discount too.
That's probably the best advertiser I've ever seen. I'm gonna be honest. Like that was actually a W ad.
Most insidious changes that happened
It's rare
when
to say
Zuckerberg
that.
took over
It
Instagram
is, yeah.
were far more subtle. In 2014,
$10,
Instagram
yeah.
added a whole suite of different editing tools. The app went from a place to post filtered pictures of your real life into a
Mm-hmm. Ooh.
showroom for the best looking photos of yourself that you could possibly create. By 2016, they made it so algorithms would decide what photos the app would show you. Instead of giving you a timeline of the photos that your friends had posted, Instagram would only show what it thought you would engage with the most,
Yeah.
laying the groundwork for the addictive design that Facebook had already mastered. When Facebook began pushing for location tracking, it was the final straw for Kevin and Mike. They hated the direction the app was taking. They saw that Zuckerberg was using their app as a machine that turned people's addictions into a weapon against humanity. They thought
I think that, like, I mean, the location tracking, it's, like, not necessarily a bad thing, but, like, it shouldn't be on by default. That's what a lot of the problems are, is that whenever these things have these, like, massive, like, privacy invasion things that are like, hey, by the way, this is on by default, but you can turn it off. But if you want to do that, you have to go through 8 different menus and then call customer support. That's the problem. Like, I think it's fine. Like, for example, like, because if you're visiting a new city or something like that, and it's like, hey, you know, like there's an ad for like this place that's nearby, I don't think it's that big of a deal, right? It's really not, and it can be okay, but it should not be on by a default.
that Zuck's push for maximum engagement would lead to some of the worst problems that we see today in society. The environment on Instagram was now a constant competition to get the most followers and the most likes on your photos, always having to look the best you possibly could for the algorithm, with the aid of Instagram's inbuilt Photoshop. Unlike the founders, Zuckerberg didn't care at all that the problems on the app would soon spill over into society. As long as it kept making him billions, it didn't matter. Eventually in late 2018, Kevin and Mike gave up fighting against the tide and just decided to leave the company entirely, leaving Mark Zuckerberg free to fully realize his plans for Instagram.
I don't really feel that bad about that for those guys. Like, I really don't. The reason why is that, like, whenever you sold it to the Facebook guy, you knew what Facebook was. I bet both of those guys had Facebook. And, like, they had all of this intrusive data collection on Facebook. And now it's like, oh, wow, I can't believe this is happening to us. What a surprise. Of course it was going to happen. Why do you think he gave you $1 billion?
And this has had an awful effect on society ever since. You see, plastic surgery was still a niche industry up until this point. It was only reserved for medical purposes, Bollywood actors and trophy wives. It wasn't nearly as common as it was today, but all of this changed with the arrival of Instagram in the early 2010s. Almost overnight, we saw a rapid transformation in how people presented themselves online, and the images of people we see. Now, we've already discussed what the Kardashians and other celebrities would do to get the perfect picture. After the surgeries, camera angles, and airbrushing, the final image is barely recognizable as the person depicts. Instagram puts this power into the
I've seen plenty of people that look real good in Instagram. In real life, they don't look like that. I've seen a lot of them. Like, I've seen, no. They don't look like that.
To the people. With the high-powered camera in people's pockets, they could take what would have been a normal photo, add a filter and some Photoshop to it, and create a vision of perfection. All the little flaws and blemishes that make people human were ironed out. Now nearly anyone could achieve the level of unrealistic perfection that graced magazine covers for years. On its own, this
well, also, like, you got to keep in mind that, like, they airbrushed the shit out of this. Like, they're going to be photoshopping all this out. They probably color corrected her eyes, maybe even the lipstick as well. Like, this whole thing has been edited like crazy. It's not like they just went, oops, click, and that's it. every aspect of it. Yeah, of course.
On its own, this would have been troubling. For decades, people worried about the negative effect on people's self-esteem and self-image
jeez.
that beauty magazines and Hollywood had. But
1992.
Instagram took this to the next level. 100 times
You
in its
can do
problem
this?
by turning it into a global
That's crazy.
competition with millions of fans and billions of dollars on the line for the winners. So of course, it wasn't long before people realized
I remember I've seen people, like, I don't want to say names, right? But I've seen people that I knew on Instagram, and I didn't even recognize them in real life. Like, there's some of them that are hot in real life too, but there's also some of them that aren't. It's a bit of both.
with this game, you had to go as far as possible. For the Instagram algorithm to bless you, you had to do whatever it took. The more focused on your image you were, the more money and popularity you could get as an influencer. Constantly being dangled over you, your feed showing you all these people sucked into the same Instagram algorithm, tapping into all your primal needs, playing into men's sexual urges, and for everybody's desire for fame and attention.
That
it
was
came
me.
about selling the illusion of perfection. For a successful influencer, every photo pushed this narrative a bit further forward. They showcased their perfect bodies, their perfect lives, relaxing by pools, in million-dollar yachts, penthouses across the world, smiling.
By the way, I don't really think that this is a problem with Instagram at all. Like, this is like, I know this might be a crazy take, but like, I actually don't think this is a problem with Instagram at all. It's a problem with people's the culture. Like, if we didn't have Instagram, people still be doing stupid shit like this. It's just it'd be harder for them to figure out how to do it. Like, the reality is that the culture, like, there are people that use Instagram in a healthy, normal way, and it doesn't erode and destroy their life. So it's like, why does it happen to some people and not other people? Well, obviously, you know, maybe some people are better at dealing with it. So maybe think about how to deal with it in a better way rather than try to take everything away from the world because you're not equipped to deal with it. Like, that's the problem that I think a lot of, you know, like, takes on social media have, is like the solution to it is not, it's not to, you know, take accountability for your own behavior and how you feel. It is, I want the entire world to structurally change in a way that's beneficial to how I believe it would be beneficial. I find this to be very problematic. I do. Social media demonize bald people as well. That's because people don't like being like, okay, so that's not really true though, right? I mean, it's really not. Like, look at the guy, look at Austin Powers, Dr. Evil. I mean, come on. It's not social media,
friends.
The Rock.
It didn't matter that none of this was actually real and that it was all a fantasy. I mean, strip away the filters and the staged moments, and you'd just be left with a sad picture of self-obsession and insecurity. Living this way and focusing your whole life on your image is a terrible recipe for disaster. You would expect models, the people who are selected by society as the best looking people in the world, to have the least problems
Which,
with.
by the way, like, a lot of models, in my opinion, are not particularly attractive. They just have certain body frames that show off clothes well. Like, I don't think this girl is super hot. I don't think so at all. But, like, there's a reason why, like, male models are, like, 6'2" or taller, and female models are, like, 5'10". It's not a, like, that's not...
critiquing their own appearance, but in fact it's the opposite. Over 40% struggle with body dysmorphia and disordered eating. But this was just for models. This used to just be for these kinds of people whose entire livelihoods depended on their image. But in the last few years, Instagram has globalized its toxic mindset because of the results of its grand competition for visual perfection. All of the perfect illusions posted by influencers online were eaten up by the hundreds of millions of users.
Oh,
Instagram
people love
gained
it.
in just a
People
few
love
short
eating
years.
shit.
Some parts of Instagram culture, like using filters and photoshopping your selfies, entered the mainstream and affected the rest of the internet. It all had the effect of making everyone subconsciously disappointed with their own comparatively boring lives. If you weren't part of the
See, I never felt this way. Like, whenever I said, I would always see people going out and doing stuff, I'd be like, oh my god, bro, that must be so... You gotta deal with that shit? God damn, like, are you kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? I gotta deal with this shit? It was nuts. Like, yeah, for me, I never cared about any of that shit.
elite, then your life
Would you
looked
get plastic
worse than the
surgery if
ones
you were a
you'd see
female?
online every
Maybe.
single day. And if you didn't have the flawless figure and perfect face like the influencers, then you just weren't good enough to join the club. The algorithm wouldn't bless you. You'd just be left in the bottom of the barrel, constantly refreshing your likes to see if anyone would give you more attention. And over time, this has led to a huge rise in insecurity, mental illnesses, and body dysmorphia amongst young people in particular. All the perfection made people think that the natural imperfections that everyone else has was something to be ashamed of. Inevitably, influencers were ready to swoop in and
Well,
sell
it is something to be ashamed of. That's why they put makeup over it. Like, what are we talking about here? It's obvious. And this is the problem, is like everybody likes to talk about this from some kind of fucking idealized perspective. Yeah. Why are girls getting BBLs? Because guys like fat asses. That's the reason why. Nobody likes to see wrinkles. It's fucking gross. So that's why people put makeup over their wrinkles and they get Botox to not see them. Like, that's just the way it is. So it's like everybody tries to fucking moralize and like high road this shit. But the truth is that, like, why do people use this? Because it makes them look better. Like, fucking obviously. Obviously, that's what happens. I do, but not because I get, look, I get it, but like, it's not like this is happening for no reason. Like, I've seen girls, I'm just gonna, listen. I've seen plenty of girls that go and they're getting, let's say, 1,000 or 2,000 likes on their photos. They get surgery and they're getting 5,000 or 10,000 likes on their photos after that. Yep. That's ROI. Like, they do it because it works. Do likes pay the bills? No, but OnlyFans does. So think about that. So it wasn't a thing before cosmetic surgery. Can't tell me these fake over-the-top bottoms are attractive. So you might think that, but if you look at these girls' Instagrams that have this stuff, they have tons of followers, and they have tons of likes, and they have OnlyFans, and they're in like the 1 or 0.1%. Like, these girls are making 6 figures, 7 figures doing this. You might think that she looks like, I don't know, like a weird animal or something like that, but somebody wants to fuck that animal. And the truth is that a lot of people do. So that's the reality. Like, I know it's like nobody wants to talk about this, but it's true. There's clearly an audience for it, yeah.
Solution to the problem they had made worse. Most of them promoting harmless temporary fixes like their own cosmetic brands and makeup. The Kardashians would gain hundreds of millions of followers on Instagram and then promote their makeup lines, making billions in the process. But for some of these Instagram-fueled insecurities, there was only one way to really change it. If you wanted a bigger butt like the models on Instagram, a slimmer waistline, bigger boobs, or for guys a better jawline, a better face, plastic surgery was the easiest and quickest option. It didn't matter that it was fake.
Well, that's very important to keep in mind. The easiest and quickest option. Because it, like, so this is the thing. If you work out and you're a guy, it will change the way that your face looks. And I think that in general, if you look at 100 guys that don't work out regularly and 100 guys that do work out regularly, I bet if you look at the side by side, the guys that are working out regularly and are in shape are going to have a better facial structure and like facial composition than the guys that don't. I think so, like 10 times out of 10. I think like 9 out of 10 times. Right? That's just how it is. So yeah, less cheek. Yeah, there's a lot of different reasons. But here's the problem though, right? What's easier? Going to the doctor and having them just do a thing, or going to the gym 5 days a week, working out, managing your calories, making sure that you're watching what you're eating, exercising regularly, and, not doing drugs. I mean, Jesus Christ. Like, let's go over to South Korea. Like, I can't handle that. Nope. And that's why people do it.
If it worked for other
the kids
people,
doing the mewing thing?
Oh yeah. The whole insecurity was built on fake image to begin with. And so Instagram has duped tens of millions, even hundreds of millions.
Well, I feel like the mewing thing, like, I don't really understand it. It's like that's whenever you put like the tongue at the top of your mouth, right? Is that it? I think that's it. It's fake. It's probably not fake. It's probably it's probably like an in between where like it works for some people, it doesn't for others, based off of just like muscle composition.
people into thinking they had a real problem, and that the only way to fix this problem would be through medical procedures. If you could just save up enough money, maybe you could look like your idol. Maybe then you could get enough likes.
Maybe
and
then people
attention
will
to
love you.
finally feel worthy.
I'm
Little
sure.
do people realize it's an endless problem that you'll never be happy with. Of course, plastic
And it
surgery.
is important to keep in mind that there are some people that have something that they really don't like about how they look, and then they get plastic surgery and they fix it, and then their life is better because they're happy. So, like, I don't think that all plastic surgery is bad, but, like, pathological plastic surgery where it's like, I'm doing this, I'm changing this, and I have to do this. It's like, I feel like, and doctors even make sure that, like, my understanding is that doctors will try to, like, do a psychological almost evaluation on people before they do plastic surgery on them in some places in order to make sure that they're not that kind of a person. Very slippery slope. Yeah, but I do think that there are some people that get plastic surgery for, like, something that's, like, clearly wrong with their face, and then they fix it and they feel better. That's it. Yeah, some small fixes can improve your life. Yeah, exactly.
Won't fix your insecurities. After one procedure is over, something else pops
Right.
up that needs to be fixed. Realistically, even if you don't mind plastic
It's like a
surgery,
car. Y'all ever get a car and, like, you fix the car's, you get a new, like, let's say the belt is fucked up, so you got to get a new belt, okay? All right, now the air filter's fucked up, okay? All right, we can fix that. That's easy. All right, now the fuel pump. Oh, my God. All right, we fix the fuel pump. A month later, holy shit, the AC's not working. You have to take it back. Okay, that's fine. All right, well, then now it's like, oh, my God. There's so, yeah, it's so many impressions. Yeah, it's like Wild Gear. Exactly. There's always more.
it's still better in moderation. A few touch-ups could be seen as a positive thing if it doesn't lead to more insecurity, but the beauty standards that Instagram was pushing didn't push people towards moderation. Instead, they made everyone else want to look the same. And the more of your friends that got plastic surgery, the more of your idols that got surgery, the bigger the desire you'd have yourself for getting surgery.
It's also like girls that have their friends do it, right? Because then, like, their friends are getting more attention from guys and they're being treated better, and then it's like a social pressure.
We call it the Instagram phase, characterized by perfect skin, luscious and full lips, sharp cheekbones, and long eyelashes. It's become what millions of young women around the world dream of having. Of course, it's only possible with surgery, Botox, and Photoshop, and the world will move on to a different beauty standard before long. But this hasn't stopped people from trying to achieve this illusion. It's especially noticeable in celebrities, and promoted everywhere on Instagram's algorithm. Whether or not plastic surgery is involved, tons of models, singers, and movie stars have slowly changed their image to match the Instagram templates. Ariana Grande is a good example. You can see the progression towards the Instagram singularity over time with this picture. Notice how
That's definitely true. Like, I you know, now that I look at it, it definitely feels like there's kind of like a mode that like a lot of girls have that look exactly like that. Yeah. It's the same person. Yeah, the convergence. I never really thought of it that way, but I think that's actually a really good way to see it. Yeah.
her eyes have gone stretched out, her nose has changed, and her lips have gotten fuller. She's also lost an unhealthy amount of weight, which is a huge problem when it isn't healthy. Obviously, people can look whatever way they want to look, but there's something really sad about all of these young people getting duped into thinking their natural beauty isn't good enough. The modern standards that Instagram and its whole culture have imposed on people drives them to do this to themselves. Of course, that's not the only soul-destroying app that pushes people towards cosmetic surgery. Improving your performance on dating apps are also some of the top reasons people...
yeah. Tinder users more likely to consider plastic surgery? Wow. Fishermen more likely to consider bait. Somebody got paid to write this?
People go under the knife. The most popular dating apps focus the courtship process almost purely on what people look like. People look at your picture for a second or two, then make a split-second decision on whether you meet their standards.
Yeah.
You can easily see why
Obviously.
plastic surgery would give you an advantage for this. Filters and editing helps, but it's too obvious if it's done poorly. An artificial face underneath all of that makes the final picture much more effective. Lots of the procedures that give you an Instagram face also work especially well with filters and editing. So much so that some people design their own faces to look especially good in their online photos.
That's crazy. That's some fucking, like, bro, that's some Black Mirror shit. Oh my god. Then your kids are born ugly as fuck. Yeah, I remember that one photo, and then, like, the girl in the photo, apparently it wasn't even true, and it ruined her life. Yeah, I remember that. Think about whenever AIs used to min-max to make you feel bad about yourself, so you buy the solution. Oh, you think, like, yeah, well, I mean, that's like the Schlatt filter. Remember whenever he would always do that? And he would filter himself, and, like, nobody, like, I feel like there are people that that were fans of Schlatt that actually don't know what he looks like. Yeah, clearly Black Mirror was written by a time traveler. Yeah, I mean, it's not a surprise. I mean, this is just what's going to happen with anybody. And I think really the solution to this is, you know, like, give people, like, I think it's, like, internal. Like, people need to take some degree of accountability for how they feel about different things, because there's always going to be ways that people find to hate themselves. Like, if you have a problem, somebody will be able to figure that out inside of you. So you can't look at the world and like try to protect, like, you know, change the world to protect yourself.
Is something when you actually look at them. While you may think the Instagram face looks good on Instagram itself, next to a group of normal people in real life, it just looks kind of strange and alien. One thing about all the ways Instagram has led to the rise in plastic surgery is that it doesn't discriminate by age. In fact, young people and even teenagers are much more susceptible to the coordinated attack on your self-image that Instagram delivers. While the Instagram face doesn't really bear any relation to people's natural faces, it is similar to someone who's in their early to late 20s. All the teenagers browsing Instagram...
Well, it's also, I mean, there's some people that look that way. It's the same as anything. Like, there are some people that look that way, but there's just not a lot of them. Like, naturally.
And wishing they looked that good, attempted to get procedures that made them look older rather than younger. This is the reason why plastic surgery and cosmetic procedures are growing fastest amongst people under 30, and even...
As of 2020, 18% of all cosmetic surgeries in the United States were performed on patients 13 to 19. Well, like, I mean, this has got to be like, what does this include? Does this include like taking out somebody's wisdom teeth? Like, there's no way it does, right? Like, but there's got to be some explanation of this that makes sense, right? Because like, I just cannot fucking believe this. There's got to be like a medical reason or braces or something like that, dental thing. Yeah, this has got like, bro, this is nuts. There's no way I can believe this. Oh my god.
Faster in teenagers. Some of these procedures are what's called preventative plastic surgery. People are getting Botox and other things done in order to prevent future wrinkles, not just fast.
Oh my god. Oh my god. It's not gonna matter. It's just not. I'm sorry, it's insane, and it's like, it's just not gonna work, man. Like, I knew there was one girl that, man, I remember whenever we would go out somewhere, she would want to use an umbrella, even whenever it wasn't raining, so the sun wouldn't get on her face. And I'm like, a parasol? What are you, fucking Mary Poppins? Put that shit away and act like a normal goddamn American. Get the fuck out of here. I don't want to hear that shit. This is ridiculous.
And the ones already there.
Shut up.
I mean, it's truly insane that people are trying to fix a false problem that hasn't even happened yet because of one app. Another far more disturbing procedure is buccal fat removal.
No,
it's been all the
like
rage on
cheeks,
Instagram
right?
for quite a while now because it matches the current beauty standards online. Even if you don't know what it really is, you'll recognize the effects. In the procedure, a surgeon makes cuts inside the mouth and removes what's called the buccal fat pad, which rests under the cheekbones. The result is far more prominent cheekbones and that sunken, hollow look that's all the
okay.
rage right now. It makes you look far older and your face look thinner, but it's not without giant risks. The procedure itself...
I feel like if they did that to me, I would just look like a corpse. Like, cause my face is already really thin. Like, I would actually look like a fucking corpse. I'd be a necromancer, yeah, exactly.
Can be painful and dangerous.
The Crypt
As people
Keeper?
get older, their faces naturally get thinner and the natural layer of fat on your face gets less prominent. It's an irreversible procedure. All of the people getting it might regret it in 10 years down the line, unless they were going for that skeletal look in the front.
Yeah, that's something... That's crazy because, like, if I go back and I look at myself... Let me see if I could show you guys. I mean, this is me back in, like... My face used to be like that a lot. Let's see if I can find a good one. Yeah, like, I used to be skinny as fuck. So anyway, my mother... No, it's not. It's... shit. Yeah, I think you can kind of tell. But, like, my face was super fucking thin. Yeah. Skeletor? Exactly. Yeah. The arm? I was 108 pounds in this video. Yeah, no cheek muscles? Well, the reason why I didn't have... So, I'm going to say something that's, like, crazy fucked up. So, basically, one of the reasons why I have a beard is because my jaw literally rotted from not having enough teeth. Because my teeth rotted out. So that's why, because I used to have, if you go back and you look at old videos of me, I have a pretty normal jawline. But then all the teeth rotted out. I couldn't eat like that anymore. So I have no muscles in my jaw. And so now I eat with the front of my mouth, which is why, like, my face is a little bit weird. Did you get surgery at 13? No. No, exactly. And so, yeah, the bone reabsorbs as well. Exactly. And so it's not weird. Yeah. And so anyway, that's what happened. Did you fix your teeth? Oh, a lot of them, but I never replaced the back ones. It doesn't really show. Yeah, not really. But, like, again, if you look at, like, before and after, it definitely shows. Your face is fine, but different. Well, I know, but it's changed because of that reason. So, yeah, it's like, for me, this is actually, like, it's weird because I used to look more like this. Whereas, like, not before. Molars provide the most muscle for your jaw. I have 0. Yeah, I don't have any.
If we want to look at where we might be in the future with the rise of cosmetic surgery, we only need to turn to South Korea. The country is in the future of plastic surgery. A third of Korean women aged 19 to 29 have undergone the knife, and the numbers just keep on rising, especially amongst young people. 60% of South Korean high school students want to get surgery in the future. There's even stories.
That's South Korea, though, right? I mean, like, that's what they do over there.
Of young people winning plastic surgery vouchers from their schools to help with their future careers.
Bro, the schools? It's a high school that's giving away prizes for plastic surgery? I love that. That's so sick.
What's going on here?
Oh my God.
For the future of the best? Well, one theory is that it's all part of a push towards stricter conformity and a move away from individualism. In a culture where your social standing and your reputation are highly valued, losing face can mean everything. Breaking cultural norms and deviating from what's expected of you can damage both you and your family's reputation. With so much value put on that by everyone else, people who break away get ostracized.
I see this all the time, and it's like these girls, it's especially Korean girls, and oh Jesus. So basically, a lot of them will post photos of themselves, but they'll never show their face. But then every once in a while, they'll have like one photo of them with their face, and like you can see them, and it's like, you're hot. What are you doing? Just post a photo with your fucking face. Well, like, because like you would expect it to be like, you know, like awful. But no, it's like, yeah, dude, the body image shit over there is crazy. No, modesty is great. Well, I mean, bro, this isn't modesty. They're posting pictures of their boobs, but they don't want to show their face, okay? Like, I think you're misunderstanding what we're talking about here.
And excluded from society. One of the many problems that this can cause has come about with modern society's focus on looks and aesthetics, both in the West and in South Korea.
I really noticed that a lot. You know how I noticed this? It was actually whenever I was watching a video about high schools in like the 80s and the 90s, and nobody in there was trying to wear like any kind of crazy clothes or anything like that. They were just wearing normal clothes. Whereas, like, now, if you look at high schools, it's kids that are constantly trying to wear things that are, like, expensive shit. Yeah, Jinko's not normal. Well, that was, like, really, I mean, that was only, like, a small subset of people in high school, right? Nobody gave a fuck? Yeah. It's like the disparity was way bigger. Yeah, hype culture? I know.
We might have Instagram face. It's a relatively new development compared to South Korea's rigid beauty standards.
Because, like, whenever I went to high school, this is what I would wear to high school. I would wear cargo pants to high school and a white or a black t-shirt. Either a plain white t-shirt or I had another black t-shirt and it said, I do all my own stunts. And I had like 5 other ones that I would wear, and that would wear my World of Warcraft hoodie. And it's like, I never really thought about like what I was wearing or like whether it was problematic or not. Yeah, or the army shirt. Yeah, I wore the army shirt a lot too. It was a good rotation. I was an edgy dude. A little bit.
Same facial features are valued above all others and plastered on every billboard, commercial, TV show, and music video. Conforming to this standard has become the same as any other social rule or cultural pressure. It becomes almost rude to assault other people's eyes with your appearance if it doesn't match the cultural mold. Your face and how you look get wrapped
So it's
up
rude to be ugly? I like that. That sounds good. Yeah, that's... Bro. That's real good. Female body inspector shirt. So my friend Eric had that shirt, and I remember they made him go home and change it. Because he wore it, and he's like, hey, cool. You see FBI, but it's like boobs. I'm like, oh, really? Yeah, and then they made him change it.
The idea of success
kinda
and
awesome,
happiness
yeah.
pushed by the rest of the culture.
I remember
No
I
wonder
bought a shirt. It says, fuck y'all, I'm from Texas. And my mom said you are never allowed to wear that shirt anywhere ever. And so I've only just put the shirt on my wall. I never wore it.
plastic surgery is so popular. It's become the difference between getting that promotion you've been working towards and missing out.
Yeah, it
the
is.
same thing that's happened in South Korea has also come to China as well. The industry is booming there now. The amount of people getting surgery increased by 600% between 2009 and 2018. This huge demand has led to a sharp spike in unlicensed and dangerous plastic surgery that's led to some truly horrifying results. And what you're seeing here right now is the work of a mysterious figure known online as Dr. Kim. He came to prominence on TikTok after these videos showing his patients' uncanny transformations went viral. They're clear examples of what can go horribly wrong with plastic surgery. The face lifts are so tight, it looks completely unnatural.
You know, this reminds me of a Bill Burr bit where he said that he'd rather look like a 50-year-old man than a 30-year-old lizard. Yeah, it just reminds me of that.
And people are paying a fortune for this. Their natural beauty has vanished under an artificial glaze, and you're left wondering whether they can even smile or frown anymore. Now, it makes sense through the lens of cultural...
They can't, bro. Like, they can't move their eyebrows and shit. No, I know about this. Yeah, it's just... What the fuck are you trying to do with yourself? What the hell is wrong with you?
Conformity. The pressures to look young and attractive are so high that people
Who's
are led
that?
to these extremes and are willing to do anything to achieve that sense of perfection. Even going to unlicensed butchers like Dr. Kim. And Tubbs' series investigating these images has led
Unlicensed,
to
I would
some
have
really
never
dark
guessed.
stories, as it appears that Dr. Kim is not one person but a pseudonym used by shady unlicensed...
And like, so there was this one video I saw, it got recommended to me. It's this like Korean guy who's like 57 and he's like in like super good shape. And they ask him, they're like, you know, what do you do to take care of yourself? And he's like, well, what I do is I work out all the time, I eat lean, and I don't do any drugs. And they're like, okay, yeah, but what's your skincare routine? He's like, I use water on my face and I usually take showers. And they're like, okay, but like, what's the secret though? He's like, well, if you go back to exercising and taking care of yourself and working out regularly and eating properly and not doing drugs. So like, that's really kind of what I do. And they're like, yeah, okay, but like, what could, all right, Jesus, that's too hard. Isn't there a second option? That's I need the video. Yeah, really. That's it. Genetic lottery? Well, it is. Like, obviously, like, the guy's got great genetics. Yeah, for sure. But at the same time, I have a lot of friends that do a lot of drugs. And they look a lot older than I do. They look way older than I do. So, it's better not to do that. Of course, yeah. Good genetics is largely cope. I don't know. Like, I think it really depends.
Plastic surgery company called Shanghai Huzhong Medical Beauty Clinic, and from the evidence he gathered, they've been accused of using expired drugs, have been sued by multiple people and
What the
companies,
fuck?
and they've even trafficked counterfeited drugs to use in their practice.
Oh my god.
Whilst these pictures definitely aren't indicative of China's entire beauty industry, they do show where criminals can turn a profit from exploiting it.
Oh yeah. I mean, like, this is a big thing. Like, I've dated a girl from China before, right? And so I know a little bit about this. It's, man, bro, like, they are down bad. They are down bad. Jesus.
Even handsome people you see in the before pictures were unhappy with how they looked because their culture made them insecure. It opened the door to criminals looking to make an easy buck, with no regard for what their victims will have to live with for the rest of their lives. And it seems like the West is moving farther towards this point of cultural conformity with the help of Instagram, the biggest promoter of these artificial beauty standards. Sure, there's more virtue signaling than ever. Everyday corporate media outlets tell people that
You
differences
should
are
learn
good.
to love yourself. Well, this is the reason. So, like, this is what I think. This is the most toxic thing that I think some girls do. Is they talk about how much they want people to have, like, a, they're like, oh, you should love yourself and everything like that. While they, like, enable, like, they're like, oh, you're so beautiful. It's like some, like, massively overweight girl. And it's like, why are you saying this? You're just saying this to make yourself feel good.
And that we should love our own features and characteristics, whatever they might be. But at the same time, it does seem like we're going in the opposite direction. The pressures to have a perfect body and face is so high. Nearly everyone on TV and in films looks pretty much the same, all completely plastic, fake, and hollow. It doesn't matter what the context is in Hollywood now. If your shirt comes off in a movie, you need a six-pack and you need to be on steroids. And then
Yep.
also lie about it. The dating world is by far the best indicator
I
of
just
how
wish that they'd be honest. I feel like that would help a lot of guys if, like, Zac Efron or, like, who's the fucking guy that plays Jack Reacher? Or like The Rock, they're like, yeah, I do steroids like fucking crazy and that's why I look like this.
selective
Yeah, it's like,
people's
obviously.
beauty standards have become. With modern dating apps and our image-focused culture, your face needs to pass the swipe test before you can even play the
Reacher
game.
says he does?
More
That's
and more
good.
men and women get pushed out of the system, rejected because
Alan
they no
Richardson?
longer
Yeah, there you go.
conform well enough to the modern Instagram face beauty standard and its male counterpart. And so much exposure to inhuman perfection on Instagram has warped people's standards and made a whole generation of lonely outcasts.
Incels,
There's even
yeah.
people talking about an incel revolution nowadays, as more and more people get
Incel revolution. You know what the incel revolution is going to be? Having AI robot girlfriends.
pushed to the sidelines without any romantic interest.
Yep.
While at the same time, another huge section of people are becoming literally plastic. That's why you should never expose yourself to the toxic sludge that Instagram promotes. As every time you go on the app, you're subtly, subconsciously becoming more and more insecure. Disconnecting from Instagram's twisted beauty standards means that you can actually truly appreciate people that the rest of the world might not even see.
Well, I think that's true. I mean, a lot of the stuff
If
that he
one's trying to
says is
change what-
definitely true. I don't think that really the problem is Instagram. I think that it's mental health. I think people don't have any tools or resources to manage their mental health. By the way, this is a great video. I'm going to link you guys the video. Make sure to give the guy stuff. I've watched Moon's videos before. I really like them a lot. Yeah, Instagram enables it. It does. It does. They enable it, and I just, like, I don't want to get rid of Instagram. I think that people, like, if you feel like Instagram is fucking with your life, you should 100% stop using it. Just stop using it. It's like, hey, my head hurts whenever I hit myself in the face. Well, stop hitting yourself in the fucking face. How about that? Sounds crazy, but there it is. Technology's also outpaced human evolution. Yeah, that's probably true, too. It's parents' advice. Who funds the surgery? Yeah, I think there's that, too. Like, growing up, I mean, like, because I can't really talk too much shit about this, right? Because, in a way, I've had plastic surgery. I've had, like, or cosmetic surgery. Like, a lot of my teeth are fake. Yeah. Like, I have fake teeth. And so that's not the way I originally spawned in as. Yeah, my nose is fake. It's not actually. I do have a cosmetic nose though. I can't smell anything out of my nose, and I can't really breathe out of my nose either. But that's more practical. It is definitely more practical. Yeah, it's medical though. You need that stuff. Yeah, exactly. But it's a bit different if your teeth need to be repaired. I understand that it's a bit different, but it's not completely different. And that's the only point that I'm making. And so it's not mandatory, though? No, my mom ate plenty of shit with no teeth. She had like 2 teeth or 3 teeth left at the end. So, yeah, I mean, and that was the case for a long time. And so, yeah, no, it was bad, bro. Like, it was awful. And so, yeah, she would, like, have to gum shit down. It was really bad at the end. Yeah. I mean, well, she had that for, like, maybe, like, 7, 8 years, honestly. It was brutal. But, yeah, anyway, I think Instagram is, it's definitely an enabler for mental illness. It is a huge enabler for mental illness. And I think that all social media is. I feel like the only way you can solve this problem is by making people stop blaming Instagram. That might sound like maybe counterproductive, but the moment that people realize that the problem that they have is internal and it's not because of Instagram, then they can actually solve it. But everybody wants to externalize their problems, and they want to look for another reason that it's somebody else's fault. Oh, it's Instagram that's making me. It's because, you know, like, oh, it's the food. It's something else. No, just, it's you, man. It's you. It's not just Instagram. It's social media in general. Yeah, exactly. I think so, too. Social media is an accelerant for mental health issues. It is. It absolutely is an accelerant for mental health issues. 100%. There's multitude of factors for mental illnesses coming from social media. It's a nice mix of community. By the way, the app is designed. Yeah, I think that like some of the different types of algorithms and things like that should absolutely be criticized for fucking sure. I do it on social medias, and hopefully I hope more people do. I like using social media. I've never had a problem with it at all. Like, I just don't worry about it. I mean, the thing is, like, I know what I look like. I look in a mirror, right? That's it. What's your opinion on guys who make surgeries to make them taller? I mean, if it'll make you happy, do it. Like, I don't care what people do. Do whatever you want to do. It's dumb. Yeah, it's dumb, but, like, guys care a lot about height. So it's like, it's easy to say it's, like, I can say it's dumb. I'm 6'3". It's not a problem for me. I don't have to worry about it. Because like, I bet some guy who's like 5'6" could say like me feeling the way that I do about my hair is also dumb if he has a good hairline. So it's like, it's easy to say it's stupid, but if you take a second and you think about it for a minute, it's like, wait a minute. Like, you know, they feel the same way that you feel for just a different reason. It's perspective, yeah. Guys' height are like women's reasons for plastic surgery. Yeah, sure. I get it. Using apps on the internet itself, it's like teaching someone how to cast spells and magic. In reality, 7 out of 10 people will use terrible ways. Yeah, it's probably true. Not every guy gives a fuck about height, bro. You're right, but it's like, remember that one Channel 5 video where it was like that weird, creepy pickup artist who said, height matters if you think it does? And I was like, what the fuck? That's like the smartest thing I've ever heard. Yeah. There are absolutely guys that, like, height doesn't bother them. And he's, like, such a fucking idiot the entire rest of the time. And then it was, like, just in that one moment, it's like, wait. Yeah, true. And then he went back to being stupid. But, yeah, that one part definitely helped.
My name's Scott Galloway.